Can you imagine an HOA president screaming at a 13-year-old girl for wearing her hijab, only to end up in handcuffs while an FBI agent records it all? That's exactly what went down in Meadow VYEW Estates, and trust me, it's a story you won't forget. My name's DVYD Hassan, and when my family moved into this cookie-cutter suburban paradise, I thought we'd found our forever home. But then we met Linda Peterson, the HOA queen bee with a vendetta and a clipboard, and everything went sideways. From day one, Linda made it clear she was watching us. "Welcome to Meadow VYEW," she said, her smile as fake as her tan. "I'm Linda Peterson, HOA president. Read the bylaws. We keep things perfect here." Perfect, apparently, meant her cruising by in her silver Lexus, snapping pics of our mailbox or Leah VYing notes about our trash cans being too VY Cybele. I'm a patient guy, but Linda's daily inspections were like Lee VYing under a microscope. Still, I brushed it off until she crossed the line that turned our quiet Sunday into a neighborhood spectacle. It was a warm afternoon, and my daughter, Noor, was out in our driveway, shooting hoops with her new friends. At 13, Noor's a superstar straight-A student, kind to everyone, and crazy about basketball. She was wearing her hijab, as always, with a modest long-sleeve athletic outfit. I was in my home office, window open, catching up on emails while stealing glances at the kids laughing outside. Everything felt right until I heard the screech of tires. Linda's Lexus skidded to a stop in front of our house, and before I could blink, she was storming up our driveway, her designer heels clicking like a ticking bomb. "Excuse me." Linda's voice could have cracked pavement. "This is unacceptable, You're violating HOA dress code regulations." The basketball game froze. The ball bounced away as Noor and her friends stared confused. I bolted from my chair, but I could hear every word through the window. "I'm sorry, what?" Noor asked, her voice polite but shaky. Linda jabbed a manicured finger at Noor's hijab. "That head covering. Section 5, paragraph 3 says no headwear in common areas or VY Cybele from the street. That's a DULA 200 fine." By the time I got outside, Noor's friends had backed off, and my daughter stood alone, hugging the basketball like a shield, her eyes wide with embarrassment. "Linda, that's enough," I said, stepping between them. "That rule's about hats, not religious headwear. Noor's hijab is part of our faith, protected by federal law." Linda spun toward me, her face redder than her lipstick. "Rules are rules, DVYD. I don't see any religious exemption in the bylaws. I've run this HOA for 8 years, I know them inside out." "Then you should know about the Fair Housing Act and religious discrimination laws," I shot back, resting a hand on Noor's shoulder. "Leave my property. Now." But Linda didn't budge. Instead, she whipped out her phone and started snapping photos of Noor. "Documentation for the violation report," she said, smirking. "The board's meeting Thursday, and we'll be discussing this and your unapproved basketball hoop." My blood was boiling, but then I noticed our neighbor, James Lee, standing at the edge of his driveway, phone in hand, recording everything. He gave me a quick nod, and I felt a flicker of relief. "Linda, stop harassing my daughter and leave," I said, my voice steady despite the rage bubbling inside. "This is the 3rd time this week you've come by with nonsense complaints." "Nonsense?" she snapped. "I'm enforcing the covenants everyone agreed to. If you people don't like our rules, you should have moved somewhere else." The words, "you people," hit like a slap. Noor pressed closer to me, and I saw red. "What exactly do you mean by you people, Linda?" I asked, my voice low and dangerous. "People who don't respect rules," she shrieked, loud enough to set off a neighbor's dog. "This is a respectable community with standards. That head covering isn't approved recreational attire." Before I could respond, James stepped forward, still recording. "Ms. Peterson," he said calmly, "I'm Special Agent James Lee with the FBI. I'm off duty, but I feel obligated to point out you're engaging in religious discrimination, which is a federal civil rights violation." Linda's jaw dropped, then snapped shut. "This is an HOA matter," she sputtered. "You have no jurisdiction here." James didn't flinch. "As a citizen, I'm informing you of the law. As your neighbor, I'm suggesting you rethink your stance. And as someone who's recorded this whole thing, I'm warning you that harassing a kid over her religious headwear could land you in serious trouble." Linda's face turned purple. "Are you threatening me? My sister's a lawyer." "Not a threat," James said coolly. "Just facts. You've been asked to leave multiple times. Staying now is trespassing." I thought that'd be the end of it. A normal person would have backed off. But Linda? She went nuclear. "I won't be intimidated by you or your terrorist sympathizers," she screamed, pointing at Noor's hijab. "This is America Saw. We follow American rules here." Noor flinched, tears in her eyes, and I'd had enough. "Linda, get off my property, or I'm calling the cops," I said, my voice trembling with fury. "Go ahead," she yelled, her finger inches from my face. "They'll see I'm right. I'm the HOA president, and what I say goes." By now, neighbors were poking their heads out, drawn by the chaos. Linda seemed to think they were her cheering squad, not witnesses to her meltdown. "You know what? I'll make this easy," I said, pulling out my phone. I dialed 911, reporting an aggressive trespasser harassing my daughter and refusing to leave. Linda's eyes bugged out as I gave our address. "You're calling the police on me? Do you know who I am in this community?" "Yeah, Linda," said a voice behind her, Maria Torres, the HOA treasurer, from a few houses down. "We all do. And this is disgusting behavior, especially from our board president." Linda whirled around, realizing her audience wasn't on her side. "Maria, you don't get it. They're violating Section 5. Which was about gang-related headwear, not religious clothing." Maria cut in. "You know that, Linda." Before Linda could argue, a patrol car rolled up, lights flashing. Linda instantly flipped to VY-TIM mode, rushing to the officers with crocodile tears. "Officers, thank goodness! I was enforcing community rules when this man got aggressive." The lead officer, a no-nonsense woman, sized up the scene, Linda's theatrics, Noor clutching her basketball, James with his phone, and a crowd of neighbors. "Ma'am, tell me what happened," she said. Linda spun a tale of being attacked while doing her job, conveniently skipping the hijab harassment. When she was done, the officer turned to me. I laid it out, Linda's Yunan vy Ted vy sits, targeting Noor's hijab, refusing to leave, and her "you people" and terrorist comments. "He's lying," Linda interrupted. "It's about rules, not religion." "I've got it all on vy Dale," James said, stepping up and identifying himself as an FBI agent. He showed the officer the footage. Her face hardened as she watched. When it finished, she turned to Linda. "Ms. Peterson, I need your ID." "What? I'm the VY-TIM," Linda protested, fumbling for her wallet. "Based on what I've seen," the officer said, "you're being detained for criminal harassment, trespassing, and possible hate crime charges." Linda went pale. "Hate crime? This is absurd. I was enforcing private rules." "Rules you applied discriminatorily," the officer replied. "Turn around. Hands behind your back." "You can't be serious," Linda screeched as handcuffs clicked. "My husband's a big donor to the police fund." The officer didn't blink, reading Linda her Miranda rights. The second officer asked if I wanted to press charges. I looked at Noor, still shaken, and the neighbors, some looking guilty for staying silent too long. "Yes," I said. "This stops now." Linda was led to the patrol car, still yelling about lawsuits against me, the police, and the HOA. Just before they shut the door, she glared at me. "You'll regret this. My lawyer will crush you by morning." Spoiler: her lawyer didn't crush anyone. 3 weeks later, I was in a courtroom, watching Linda face the music. She pleaded guilty to criminal harassment, and trespassing as part of a plea deal. The hate crime charge was dropped for her cooperation, but she got a DO Law 5,000 fine, mandatory cultural sensitivity training, and a 2-year restraining order keeping her 100 feet from us. The judge, a sharp woman with zero patience for nonsense, stared Linda down. "Miss Peterson, harassing a child for her religion is illegal and despicable. It's the opposite of what this country stands for." Linda, in her fancy suit with her hair a mess, mumbled, "Yes, Your Honor." Then came the kicker. Maria revealed the HOA board had voted Linda out unanimously the day after her arrest. When the judge mentioned this, Linda's face collapsed. That board position was her whole identity, and losing it hit harder than the fine. "The power you abuse to discriminate is gone," the judge said. "Maybe now you'll learn what real leadership means: respect, inclusion, qualities you clearly lack." As Linda was led away, she glanced back at me, her eyes empty, not angry, just broken. That day in Meadow VYEW showed me something. Sometimes, it takes a neighborhood to stand up to a bully. But it shouldn't take an FBI agent's VY Dale or a kid's tears to make it happen. Nora's back to playing basketball, and Linda's Lexus doesn't cruise by anymore. But I'll never forget the sound of her screams or the silence of neighbors who waited too long to speak up.